Welcome back to The Real Screeners, guys. And today, our Real Take is going to focus on Disney Plus's new series, Loki, which we've been waiting with bated breath for several weeks.
Super excited about this. Yes.
And today, we're going to take a deep dive into this episode. And this being a one-episode review, I don't know how you go into it without some spoilers. So
it wouldn't be as fun.
It really wouldn't.
Yes.
So letting you guys know, fair warning, this is a spoiler-filled review. So you've been warned. We'd like to welcome back all of our loyal followers. And for those of you who might be tuning in for the first time to our channel, we want to ask you guys to please subscribe, like, share, and hit that notifications bell so that you know every time we upload a new video.
Absolutely. And also don't forget to look us up on social media. We're on TikTok and Facebook at Real Screeners and Instagram, real.screeners. Lots of good content on there. And also we'd like to give a quick shout out to Wine Attitude, our sponsor for this video. They're located inside Sunland Park Mall here in El Paso, Texas. And also don't forget to check out our online retail store, realscreeners.com, for our merchandise. We have a lot of fun movie theme related designs on there and general lifestyle designs that are awesome. So please check that out.
Definitely tune in because we're having some new hot designs come through the pipe.
Yes.
Don't want to miss those.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's jump right to it. So Loki is directed by Kate Herron and it stars Tom Hiddleston, of course, in the title role. And we have Owen Wilson playing Mobius. And so the show cleverly picks up in that scene in Endgame when Loki steals the Tesseract and he disappears and vanishes, right?
And you're left wondering where.
And you're left wondering where, and this show obviously answers that question. Yeah. He has shifted out of his natural flow of time and he runs into the Time Variant Authority and Timekeepers, the Time Police. And so they're like, hey, what are you doing here?
You're a variant.
You have disrupted the natural flow of time and you're a variant and we're going to arrest you. And so they take him in, and it already had me interested because this show is dealing with some time disruption, theories.
Which can be tricky. They take a nice approach to it, right?
Exactly. And so in comes Mobius, right? He's Loki is standing trial, and in comes Mobius, and he's like, hey, let me deal with this situation. And then a stellar interrogation scene begins between Mobius and Loki, where you get this really, really psychologically complex conversation delving into Loki's psyche, who he is, right?
And that's what makes this episode, this series, it looks like, really unique because you're peeling back the layers of a villain, which you don't see all too often, especially in the MCU.
Yeah, you didn't really know much about Loki, and this is really interesting that you finally get to understand more of his mischief, perhaps, or why he's the god of mischief. And even he himself, like the viewer, doesn't understand fully why he does the things that he does.
And I love that it's mysterious in the sense that they take the viewer along this ride alongside Loki and all these different levels of hell, so to speak, because he keeps falling, right? It's a little metaphor. And so you're discovering things as he is. And so I like that type of storytelling. It's not just thrown at you. I love this because you had mentioned this being meta. It's very self-aware, and you get that through the dialogue between Loki and these other characters, or he says it to himself and he's like, really? And so that's kind of maybe what the viewer is thinking at the same time. They do a good job with that, and
they really do.
You get to recognize the seriousness of this agency.
Yes, exactly. And you begin to realize the power that this agency might have, even over the Infinity Stones, right? Because there's that scene that everyone's talking about online as to, what does this mean that they use Infinity Stones as paperweights? I'm really interested to see how much power will come about with this agency. Now, let's talk about the humor in this show, man.
Oh, yeah. Tom Hiddleston for sure knocks it out the park. I mean, he falls right back into that Loki skin. And Loki, no matter what he's going through, he still carries that gravitas, that air of superiority over him because he's a god.
And his sarcasm, right?
Yeah.
Very sarcastic. And he's kind of like pompous. And in comes the Owen Wilson character. And I feel he plays a nice contrast to that character because he's more quiet and chill and kind of serious. Like, hey, you need to understand yourself, so let's talk about this,
But then he's still kind of funny, right? Because after all, they cast Owen Wilson.
Oh, yeah, with his little typical, like, Owen Wilson, like, low voice and whisper, like...
I feel like I'm always looking up to you.
Exactly, yeah. One of my favorite scenes in the show is when there's this gadget that they use to sort of, like, stop Loki from attacking. It's almost like he jumps back in time a little bit, and he gets restrained over and over again, and then he uses it on one of the, VA officers, in the show. And that had me laughing, Great character study, great comedy. Also, the show looks great, like WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
Yeah, when I was going through it, I was noticing the colors, the costuming, the designs with
great set designs. Yeah.
Yes, it really felt like it was in the 70s or 80s. And I thought, well, that's an interesting choice. Even the TV looks old-fashioned. And one way that they do a little bit of an exposition dump is they have this TV and this little clock telling you who this agency is and all that. And it reminded me of the little DNA strand from Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, some callbacks there, really trying to give you that throwback feel, I think.
Sure, yeah, to like older movies, right? Yeah, and another thing that was interesting is the way that you go back to like the 1500s at one point and the 1800s. Those were some cool scenes to kind of show you what the VA does, kind of building on what that organization is all about. It was a lot of fun to watch and also very immersive overall. And I really like the way that the show really builds on that theme of self-reflection, because at the end of the day, what kept me invested in watching it was, okay, so we're learning about this character, we're learning about what motivates him, what drives him, and I can't wait to see where the show, is going to go.
And then that's what Disney Plus is doing so well, is they're taking these characters, these spin-offs, right, from the Avengers,
and developing them.
And they're developing these characters. They're doing a deep dive into these characters, peeling everything back. And I'm really looking forward to this series. I have a feeling this has the potential to be the best Marvel Disney Plus series that they've released so far, right?
I've got a feeling that might be the case. Yep.
So it's pretty obvious, guys, that we love this episode, and I'm going to go right out and say 5 reels. Now, again, it's not going to be the most action-packed, but that's not what they're going for in this first episode, so definitely a great one.
I feel like they're going to build on the action later on. I really do, I just feel like the way that they started the show was letting the viewer know, hey, you're going to get a deep psychological evaluation of Loki, and with Hiddleston playing the role, and then you have Owen Wilson also. They're both great actors. There's no reason not to give this show or this episode 5 reels, so I'm going to agree with your rating. So definitely check out the first episode of Loki. We will definitely give you our overall review once the show is over, so look forward to that. And also, don't forget to leave your comments below. Tell us what you think about this first episode of Loki, and don't forget to look us up on social media, Facebook and TikTok, Real Screeners, and Instagram, real.screeners.
And of course, please, if you like our videos, consider subscribing, and of course, hit the like button and that bell button.
Absolutely. And don't forget to tune in next time for our next real take on movies and TV shows.
We want to ask you guys to please subscribe to the...
And also, don't forget to check out our online retail store, realscreeners.com wow, like my brain is wanting to say something that it's not supposed to. What do I do? Where do I go from there?
Oh, yeah. Tom Hiddleston.
Oh, yeah. The Kool-Aid man. I was going to say something and it totally just bloop.
So now on to... go. So not...